Hello everyone, and welcome back to my RP-1 playthrough. So, let's see. It's been a little bit, and I'm sorry for the delay. Had some health stuff that meant it was quite hard to stream, but I'm gradually getting back. And of course, also there were some quite significant changes to RP-1 in the meanwhile. So let me see if I can remember what I'm doing. We're launching a space station, and I was grinding out comsats. Let's warp to the morning so I can actually see what to click on. Or let's warp a little bit more so I can actually see what to click on. Click on. All right, so that's still sitting there tempting me. I did fix the payout on these to not be quite so awesome. But they're still a pretty reasonable thing to grind out. So, take one of them. Let's see. Oh, right, and oh yes, we're about to arrive to do our Venus landing, I think is what this means. Right, we fine-tuned our approach last time. So that's not going to finish before it's relevant. So let's go ahead and watch what happens. All right. Okay. Let's go to it, and let's do some science. Oh, that's bright. All right, so step one. What is this targeted? That's targeted at Earth. That's targeted the active vessel. Good. That is a big old thruster. So we have to achieve a landing and okay, so first let's rotate such that we get some solar power. Also, we'll get a lot of Venus stuff. Yeah, we did not send much in the way of science last time. So there's plenty to gain from this trip. Come on, finish your spin. All right, now we're actually getting some solar power. And our solar panels have gotten pretty weak in their old age, but they're still going to give us enough power, so it's going to be okay. And that should have given us a pretty load of science. It did. Okay, so that's good enough. All right. Now, oh, hey Cosmic Crash, sorry, it took me a while to see the chat message. So this is a Venus orbiter lander combination. You can see the lander up here and the orbiter down here. And we actually have enough delta V to insert into Venus orbit first. But in fact, let's take a peek at how much delta. I think it's about 800 meters per second to do the insertion. Change at all right. As I said, about 800 meters per second. And that's a one day and 16 hours. So that's a 10-day orbit. Sorry, that's a 5-day orbit. Yeah, that's a 5-day orbit. That's not too bad. We could do that, then decouple, and then do some maneuvers, or we could try to land on the first pass. We have the heat shield to support a direct landing, I think. should be fine. But what we don't have is comms. And we'd be landing on the dark side. So the other side of that is even if we put a maneuver here, right? Like that's still a fairly expensive maneuver to change where the yeah. Trying to trying to put that Paris-Ithera on the light side is not going to be easy. The other issue with that approach, if we separate now, I will have to set up the other thing such that it won't hit. It won't actually hit Paris-Ithera until the other thing has landed. So given how much delta V we have, I think we might actually want to just do the insertion first. And that gives us so much more flexibility. So we'll play it like that. It'll cost us some delta V, but as long as we capture, we can aerobrake down to a circular orbit. So I don't actually care that much. And I think I want us to be about 200 kilometers. All right. So let's warp on in and see what else other science we can get. I want to make sure that we're power positive. Yes, we are. Yeah, these solar panels are doing next to nothing. They'll do like 3 watts on the surface or something. Okay, we got some more science. Next biome. Let me recreate that node because I kind of screwed it a little bit. It's 200,000 kilometers. Okay. Not moving very much over the surface, are we? Day out. Picking up speed. Four hours. 50,000 kilometers. Hour and a half out. 20,000. 10,000. All right. Now we got some stuff. And the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch targeting that to Earth so that we can use it to transmit stuff too. But I have to remember to switch it back, or I will be in deep, deep doo-doo. That's all stuff we've already done. Why is it giving us a... That's better. I don't believe you. It says lowlands again. It's because that hasn't finished transmitting. Look at that science. 10 minutes to go. Let's orient to the node. $2,000 kilometers. Okay, just under 5 minutes to go. There's the limb of the planet. Hey, that's good. Oops, we already got Highlands, so we don't have to do that. And we've lost comms. We'll put it in the Ranger core. Okay. And let's transfer it again. Okay, I think that's everything. Really should enable the stock science transfer behavior and this stuff. It'll make life easier. Okay, we've captured. Look at that. All right. Excellent. Venus orbit. We get money. Oops. Oh, shoot, I missed that biome. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Well, hopefully it will return again. I mean, we'll get it eventually because we're orbiting, but... all the Venus below us. Whoops, I didn't get quite all of it. All right. All right, that's pretty good. We'll stick in that orientation. We'll spin up ever so slightly, which should keep us oriented. Off we go from Venus. We'll see you again shortly. We're back in space high again. Review stored data. Transmit all the things. Okay. Canyons. We've got canyons. much science to transmit. What are we up to now? That's a lot of science. And boy, are we going to get more. We probably should have done a polar orbit. But conveniently, we can change our inclination. Although we should do that after we do the landing. I wonder. Time to DN is... Oh, that's excellent. The DN is... Oh, crap. No, that's bad. How can that be possible? Oh, because it... Yeah. Because it looks like it's there and there. Oh no, it's 20 hours from now. So it's like here. So what would it cost to change our inclination to 90 degrees? Well, to at least 86 degrees. That's shockingly expensive. Hello. Let's see. Oh, actually. Oh, that only saves us 30 meters a second, and it pushes the pericythera out quite a bit. And that out a little bit. So, we might as well spend the extra 30 if we were going to do that. So, in 4 days, the Terminator will probably actually be about here, which kind of sucks. We'll be lucky to land on the light side. But let's go ahead and do the landing. So step 1, let's target one of these at active vessel before I forget. And let's set up our landing. Alright, so that's an infinitesimal burn. And then after separation, so I think actually we don't want to do it there. We want to do it here so that we can use our parent solar panels for as long as possible. No, I guess more like this. Or not. I don't want to waste that much delta B. So I guess we will have to do it up there. So let's try it. I'm manually warping such that when X Science kills the warp, if I hit a new biome, it won't restart the warp again. Alright, so we've passed Alpha through a tiny little bit. So let's just to get the node at the right point, and here's the moment of truth. So this thing is fully charged up. It has a heat shield. So let's go ahead and orient to that node. Which is going to be quite near prograde, as expected. All right. What are you doing? Oh, right, because... yeah. All right. Now, let's go ahead and drop this down to, I think, 100 kilometers. And decouple. All right, let's raise this back up. Let's add a periapsis alarm. 1 hour before it. And let's see if we can get any other science from this. Our orbital velocity is 300 meters per second. Oh, crap. I forgot to reorient this. So, gonna cheat slightly so I can reorient the thing. Pretty much exactly opposite orientation. So let's spin around. Close enough. Hope we didn't miss any science from that. Oh, let's get rid of that too. Ah, okay. We're getting close. All right, here goes. Any particular reason we don't have comms? They're activated. Why? Oh, now we have comms. Okay. That was confusing. Well, as long as it works in the end, I don't care. Why can't I use my RCS? Is the parachute not cross-feed? That would suck. Let's check our input logs. Nope, still can't use the RCS. Show actuation toggles, everything on. Don't know why. So we're going to have to do it this way. Oops, actually, it should, I guess it should be radial. All right. Blowfish, the issue is, I'm not sure what the issue is. We could try with infinite fuel, but I think the issue may be a shielding issue. Anyway, let's go ahead and... Oh, we did get Venus Atmospheric Probe, I assume. That would be stupid if we didn't. Yes, we did. Okay. Transmit science after going below 110 kilometers. All right. Save it as CDL. Okay. Huh, MechJeb can use the RCS and I can't. Oh, because I was using it to thrust forward, and it probably didn't have a good enough angle for it to realize that firing it could thrust it forward. Sucky comms. I trust this was a low enough Pericythera. Wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Why is our shield not shielding? It's behind the heat shield. Blowfish, the issue, I was hitting H. It was because it didn't think it was a line, because there's a clamp. If it produces below a certain amount of thrust, it doesn't fire, and that's what I was hitting in this case. All right, so that's... Don't know why the heat shield wasn't shielding, but clearly the heat shield wasn't shielding. So let's fix that problem. Give me just a sec here. Make sure I'm not doing the wrong thing. is I have to cut down on my save file count, or there will be problems. Entering Venus. But the heat shield will be fine. I'm not worried about the heat shield. 10 km sec is not that bad. All right. So, oops, turn that on. Load that. To say this is modded would be an understatement, given that I just mentioned we were going to Venus. Definitely modded. Definitely modded. Yeah, Blowfish, the issue is that the cosine of that is less than whatever the minimum thrust for actuating it is. Because I aligned them such that if you fire them, it would produce forward thrust, but it doesn't produce enough forward thrust for KSP to actuate them. So. Anyway, so for now, I guess we'll do this. Okay, and we'll align with retrograde. And why can't I transmit the science? Good, now I can. Oh, no, that's why I can't transmit the science, because we already did our little kiss into Venus's atmosphere. Blowfish, yeah, because it has to know what RCS thrusters to actuate in that case. 4x throttle doesn't mean we turn it on if throttle's engaged. It means count throttle as translate forward. Or at least that's, I think, how I wrote it back when I wrote it. I'm not sure what it is now. Yeah, it's like the heat shield is doing a fat lot of nothing. Yeah, the FX aren't even happening from the heat shield. It's like the heat shield isn't even there. That's super weird. No, it's shielding the probe core, okay. So it's just not shielding this stuff. Let's see if I set up my parasithra correctly. Blowfish, I don't know, and I regret to say that it may involve the actual power of the thruster, but I don't think it does, because I think I fixed that bug. Okay, let's... Yeah, hopefully I nailed the parasithra. G-loading isn't too bad. We're going up again. We're probably going up too fast. Skip re-entry. I don't know if we're decelerating fast enough to not skip out. I think we are, but... Oh, we're still at 100 kilometers. Yeah, we're fine. All right. We're fine. Yeah, that's about to start going down again. Yep, and the massive heating is over, so we don't even really need the heat shield anymore. It's just because that stuff was unshielded. Yeah, nail the entry angle. So we have a maximum chance of landing on the light side. We probably still won't, because it's kind of far away, but could not have asked for a better periscope. And we're just going to send that so we can complete it. Oh, we already completed the contract. It's fine. We're making money. And we're transferring science. Wow, that was a really shallow entry angle. And second dip. Oh, so close and yet so far to the light side. If we'd done it on the first pass, I might have managed to get on the light side, but probably not. Right, and now we wait basically forever to land. I forgot about, I didn't forget about that part, but I was not looking forward to it. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. All right. Yep, 81 kilometers up, and we're down to almost 1 km/sec. Blowfish, yes. Well, have an arrow shell, yes. Flatter than that, not for the Soviets, if you looked at their Venus landers. They were spheres. The drag option is, I think, just a texture option. Oh no, I think the drag option you're talking about is like a landing drag chute for a plane. I don't think it supports ribbon chutes. All right, look at who's overhead. You're overhead. Why are we out of comms? We have electric charge. We have... Oh, Duh, we're out of comms because this is out of comms. Because the Earth is over here. Because Earth just went under the horizon. Right, there's all sorts of ways this landing, the geometry sucks. But them's the breaks. All right, so we're coming down in the highlands. And at least we're getting some sunlight on the probe, even if there's no sunlight on the terrain under us. All right, so let's do the time warp again. $50 kilometers. Hey, science time. Weird to be slowed down to 80 meters per second terminal velocity at 35 kilometers, or actually 40 kilometers ASL for this thing. Still 126 kilograms. Hey, I can see the ground. I guess we're actually approaching the light side. That's awesome. We actually managed to come in high enough in the atmosphere that we got some sunlight. That's so cool. $20 kilometers AGL. Down to 44 meters per second. Yeah, so that's way the heck out there now. So yeah, I guess good we didn't try to do this on the first pass. Yeah, so depending on how strong our antennas are and that dish is that's boosting us, maybe we'll get comms again when it's out here. We'll see if we're lucky. If we're not, we'll just have to wait for Venus to rotate a whole lot before we complete that contract. Or we can cheaply raise Perisithra for that and then maybe still have comms longer. Badger Masher, in terms of the remote tech comms contracts. So when it says, were you asking about this when it was asking for coverage? You basically, you have to, that's what the KR7 dish is for. You have to target the Earth with it and have enough antennas to talk to the person in front of you and behind you in your orbital circuit. So if you're in contact with the satellite ahead of you and behind you, and you have good conic coverage of Earth's surface, then you'll probably be okay, because the contract is basically about requiring that X% of Earth's surface has comms coverage. Not necessarily sure we need a parachute. but I equipped parachutes. Yeah, that sounds like you didn't have enough coverage of Earth. Two and a half kilometers. Yeah, I guess a parachute was the right idea, but... Come on, parachute. Parachute. Huh? What was that about? Why did the parachutes not open right? That's... Let's look at the log. Nope, it just crashed. I have no idea why the parachutes didn't. Great, now I have to do the whole darn thing again. That's super annoying. I do not understand what was wrong with those parachutes. The drogue deployed and then immediately undeployed because it hit the cut altitude. Yeah, I agree that they didn't open soon enough. Which is weird because I thought I had them configured. Well, we'll see. We'll see what's going on here. Let's look. Toggle info. Ah, yes, that's why. That should sort out the problem. Yes, that will solve the problem. That should indeed solve the problem. Oh, wait. Wait, which one is which? Ah, so it's going to hit at an angle anyway. All right. Let's do this again. Once more with feeling. SL minus. And ignore max temperature still on, so that's fine. transmit those. Fizz warp it up. I was pondering trying to fly a lifting reentry, but I don't think I have the RCS propellant for it, given the forces involved. Hello. All right, so for skip, well, actually only skip. All right, we're re-entering. For definites. Okay, and then science. Transfer the science. And it won't let me send it because, yeah. Well, let's just trust that it works this time. We don't have anything else. And second reentry. Blowfish, the purpose of the lifting reentry would be to get us closer to the daylight side. Hey, science. More science. Oh, cool, another rocketry fan. Yeah, welcome you all. Yeah, I have been known to be chided that I play Spreadsheet Simulator rather than KSP, but it's fun. So, like, I always keep this open because a lot of what I do is launch to orbit, so don't want to close that. And obviously I need my maneuver planner and maneuver node editor, and I need my info window, and MechJeb's attitude controller, and Gerbil alarm clock for sure, and Delta V stats. And then right now we're also using science transfer because we're out of comms, so we have to take the experiment and then transfer it to the core, and when we have comms again, we'll send it up. And here's this for dealing with the science, and that's all the windows. At least we're under 30 kilometers again. Blowfish, yes. I mean, that's kind of the point of the avionics overhaul, is that you get just like pitch rate program, and then some more advanced stuff, and then some more advanced stuff. Finally, rather than just having all the mech jeb ascent stuff all the time, all the stuff. Like, given that we use mech jeb anyway, like, at least hook it into the progression. Oh, I forgot to warp up again. Oops. Because, right, we got the science, and then I forgot to warp up again. No wonder it's taking forever. Uh, 15 kilometers. Kilometers. Slowing down real fast now. Four kilometers AGL. $700, $600, $500. Why did the chute cut? That was so weird. I have no idea why the other chute cut, but this has at least slowed us down to a survivable impact velocity. Although I just hope that we hit when we're pointed up rather than when we're pointed sideways. Nope. Pointed sideways. Oh well. Okay. So we've landed. Albeit on our side. And now we just have to wait for... Those antennas are near their melting point. Yeah, that's going to give us no watts. Absolutely no watts. All right, at 100, what is our... 1.2 a second at 100x warp. Okay, so 12 watts. All right. So should be good until the other thing gets back. So let's go to it. Where is it anyway? Well, first let's see if we have comms. Oh, no, it took so long to land that it's way the heck over there now. It's overheating because Venus. Because Venus is very, very hot. Like, hotter than hot. Super duper hot. Okay. That's a nice number for delta V. Let's warp to here. Okay. Now, let's hope that we can safely switch back to our landed probe without the world exploding. Don't think it's that hot. It's only about like... It's only like... I forget. What actually... I don't remember offhand, but it's probably in the like the 600 degree range. Not Fahrenheit. All right, let's see if that comes over the horizon. Okay. Almost there. Yes. For one glorious shining moment, we have comms. Alright, so let's transmit some stuff. No! We had comms for one glorious shining moment, and then we didn't. So let's try on the other end of the pass. Ugh, it's also over the horizon for us that way. Oh, that's annoying. That's remarkably annoying. Alright, so we have one shot to transmit the tiniest experiment we can. The heat's coming from the atmosphere. It's not coming from the sun. So rolling is not going to help much. The reason for rolling in space was because then you alternated what side was facing the sun. But we're in atmosphere, so not so much. Okay. All right. Yeah, by rights, there's no way this thing should have survived this long on Venus. Just absolutely no way. All right, let's see when we get a little bit of comms. And it's worse because we've rotated further, so we'll have even less time in comms range this time. I think given the geometry of the situation, that's how it's going to work. Okay. Yes, we made it. Venus landing. All right. What I would like to do is transmit more of that data, but I don't know how long we'll have comms for things. Huh, we actually had enough comms to transmit everything. Maybe Earth moved enough during that time period that it moved more than Venus's rotation. All right, we've now gotten all the science from this little feller, And what a haul it was. We now have 1,000 science. All right. So let's go back to you. Okay, so you are the orbiter now. And we're going to deactivate. Oh, we lost comms right then. Lol. Let's get back. Oops. Turns out we got some more science. That's cool. I approve. We're fizz warping because if I rails warp, those science windows will go away. So we're fizz warping until we have. And look at that orbit shift as we're fizz warping. It's actually not shifting very much, which is so patting myself on the back and Bill as well for really fixing a lot of the physics bugs with this stuff. Velocity is varying almost none from how it should if we were on rails. I mean, we probably lost, we probably gained about 1 centimeter per second at most. How do we not have comms yet? Almost have comms again. Ain't nobody got time for this. Oh, wait, they're not going away when I rails warp. That's cool. I expected them to hide. They used to hide when you rails warped. Those dialogues. All right, now we have comms. Oh, now they went away. That's annoying. All right, send back the science. Solid rocket tech level would do something if we had proc solids, but we don't. Badger Asher, you might have to just launch more satellites to that constellation. Oh, it's 0% of 60%. Oh, that I think means that you don't have the right remote tech interoperation DLL. So follow the wiki and make sure you get exactly the right version of remote tech and contract configurator. I thought you were just under the 60%. But you're at 0% and you shouldn't be. So that's what's going on. Okay, so what was I? That's right. I was going to check the cost of a polar orbit change here. Interesting. Not actually any cheaper than doing it at the higher AN. That's interesting. Inclination 85. Yep. Turns out we didn't gain much from the altitude. Ooh, that's a little low. We'll go with that. Because, like, technically I would aerobrake, but because this is not in any sense multiplayer, I'm just going to hyper edit to aerobrake because I don't want to do like 50 million passes. So let's perform this maneuver. Also, boy, do we have a lot of money now. Man, boy, do we have a lot of money now. Okay, and let's execute the maneuver. Wait, which satellite dish do you have? Let me look at the picture you sent again. Yeah, it's the KR7. That's the thing with the wide field of view. All right. I don't know then. Yeah, I think if in doubt, I would just launch a bunch more of those satellites and put them at different locations in the orbit. And that should up your coverage. Okay, there we go. Now, let's rotate around such that we get good light on the solar panels. Oops. Apparently I overshot. Oops, wrong way. I'll spin around again. Close enough. All right. Um, all right. See if we get any more interesting science. While going back to Earth might be nice, uh, there is literally no way that I could do that, and nothing I could do once I got back to Earth anyway, because it's not like I have a heat shield. Yeah, ejection would probably be like, what, 3.5 kmsec? Trans-Earth injection from Venus? Um, forgot exactly. So not super viable. Yeah, I mean the only reason it would make sense to go home would be some kind of sample return, and it's not like I could take off from Venus either. So just hanging out here. All right. So that's how much it would cost. So it would probably take us about a few months of aerobraking to do that. But as I mentioned, I'm just going to go ahead and do that because I don't want to babysit this thing for months. Oops. Orbit editor. Active vessel minus 2200. There we are. That'll do. There we are. Now we're getting some science. Lakshmi planet. Uh, I think you may be kind of unfamiliar with the actual solar system because there is literally no way to design, build, and launch a rocket that can do a Venus sample return. It's just not a thing that human beings can do. Um, like that atmosphere is just not get outable. It's not like Eve, where you can do that with great difficulty, but you can do that. Real life is kind of different. Closest thing that I think was ever planned was the Apollo Venus flyby, where they were going to send 3 astronauts in an Apollo capsule using a S4B as a wet workshop um, on a trip out to Venus and back. But they sure as heck weren't entering Venus orbit, because they didn't have delta V for that. They just had delta V to get to do a Venus flyby, and that was coming back to Earth. And that still, if memory serves, required a service module burn when they got back to lower the return velocity. Blowfish, yeah, I mean, I guess you probably could do that, although I don't want to think about designing a balloon that would survive those temperatures and still be light enough to act as a balloon. And how big a balloon would be to lift a rocket with, 9 km/s of delta V. All right, looks like all that science was transferred. Right, Venus rotates super slowly, doesn't it? Oh, Blowfish, I see what you mean. Like, yeah, but you'd have to re-enter the thing and then deploy, like, kill enough velocity to stop in the upper atmosphere with a balloon. It's just, God, I don't even want to think about it. All right, well, I think I've sort of exhausted my patience for scumming science from Venus. Even though I think there's oh, wait, I have X science now. Heh, I can check how much science there's left on Venus. Um, right. Show it's available on this vessel. Venus. All right, so there's a fair few. So we're missing 2 Venus biomes. But I don't think I want to wait in orbit forever to just get those 2 biomes. So someday we'll go back and get that Venus science, but moon landing reminds me. I'm actually not that far away from a moon landing, which is pretty nice. Which is good because RP-1 master has now diverged sufficiently that I can no longer actually keep this up to date. We finally hit a genuinely safe breaking change. All right, so we have $2.5 billion in the bank. $6 million. Billion. That's 5. That's comparatively cheap, but I don't actually see a need to do that. Yeah, there's not much use in the third tier of mission control. Tracking station. Don't really need that. I guess we could get a... We could buy the big launch pad, I guess. And we're really using the 300-ton pads a lot, so I think I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to spend a little bit of this windfall upgrading this, because it's pretty cheap to do. Yeah, it's sad that using a mini Orion is the most plausible way to do Venus sample return I've yet heard. We got 54 upgrades for that Venus mission. That's, oh right, because we got over 1,000 science. Lol. Okay. All right, we'll get to 6 BP a sec and a bunch of that. All right. Yes, so we're just about to unlock capsules. That's convenient. And then super awesome Hydrolox engines. And let's figure out some nodes we can. Space stations. Why not? Oh, let's get some. The HG3 and the M1. Heh. All right, so Castor 4, sure, why not? Let's get better space stations. The claw. And tech level 4 for us. Yes, that's good. Nothing in that node. We can actually research the next blue sky nodes, although I think we won't be able to research anything beyond them. We can get better science. We can get better avionics, even though at this point there's not much point in getting more avionics. We don't need that. We don't need that. can get Nerva, I guess. We can get the multi-100 watt RTG, which we'll need for serious Jupiter missions. So at that point, we might as well do that just so we can continue in advance, and then we'll get this because I want the and we can get this, except we can't afford it. That's fine. We'll get plenty of science from Mars now. J10-190. Not really impressed with those upgrades, but here's where it gets fun. When we get the SSME. Alright, so we invested all the science. I'll check back to see what the... So remember that this is a career that started like over a year ago and has been through a bunch of revisions and updates, so this wouldn't be the actual number of update points I'd really have at this point on all the new settings. It's a kludge. So I need to leave about 700 million in reserve to unlock Apollo D2. I need to leave another 100 million in reserve for maintenance. I need to, and also for unlocking some parts. So leave things at a little over $1 billion, but that still gives us plenty to invest in stuff. Although I think I actually want to save this around so I can afford to upgrade this and this, because we're about at the wall for science. So I'll need money to, a lot of money, $6 billion to upgrade that. All right. So we have now researched enough that we can unlock Apollo D2. But I think on reflection, I've been streaming for a while, and I'd best cool my jets, I think. And also my eyes are pretty darn tired. So thanks everybody for watching. It's good to be back. And I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.